All right, so let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. So we've been in all my kind of movement classes, my Tai Chi chair, and then also in yoga, we've been spending a lot of time working on the feet. And so you'll know that when your feet, something is like sore or broken or banged on your foot, then and you're walking you're limping for a little bit too long, then you'll notice that your hips and knees start to hurt. So I think it's always very good to recognize the feet as a very special part of the body, and very often we don't. So it'd even be great if when you wake up in the morning, you could maybe just massage your feet a little bit, the soles of the feet, just to wake them up and say hello and let them know you're there. So right now, if you're sitting at your desk, have the feet down on the floor and really, just put some pressure in the heels, the arches, and the side of the foot, the edge of the foot, and then the big toe mound, the little toe mound, then all your toe pads. And see what you can feel. And then have your feet about a hip's width apart and feel the weight of your hands in your lap and your sits bones in the chair, and align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And then go to the crown of the head and just think yourself, I'm just going to release any tension in my scalp. I'm going to let my hair fall out. And then just notice how that flows onto your face and the back of the head and the neck and the shoulders and the throat and the chest and the belly, and just allow all of your limbs to relax. And then notice the sensation of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And through this process, just allow yourself to kind of settle in more and more. Be aware of any sounds in your environment, just allowing all of those sounds to be there. Try not to go off and investigate all the sounds. So we want to just kind of create our own little bubble. And then just check in with yourself this evening, this morning, this afternoon, wherever you are. And put some space in between your thoughts. Just try not to follow those stories, particularly if they're not necessarily real or true or not serving you very well. And then bring to mind all the people of your life, your loved ones and strangers, and the ones you don't really like, you have aversion for, and just remember they're all equal in that they don't want to suffer. They want to be happy. And they have this amazing capacity for a Buddha mind. So we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So, Lama Yeshe used to say, there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. So we do this practice in the context of the four opponent powers, and we start with the power of regret. So regret's not guilt. guilt's kind of I'm such a bad person, I did this awful thing, really rah, 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 coming down on yourself. And it doesn't really serve anything. Regret is more about recognizing and acknowledging you've done something and then thinking about perhaps how you could do it differently in the future. So this idea of regret, Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to talk about just feeling regret is purification in itself. And it also implies that, even thinking about regretting something, it implies that you want to do something differently in the future. So we sincerely regret from the depths of our heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to Buddha Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And we're not needing Buddha Vajrasattva to forgive us. We're not looking for like a higher power or a God or something to take it all away. We're doing it ourselves, and we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine that this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this blissful, radiant white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And he has this kind of beautiful, radiant face, and he's looking at you with love, compassion, and acceptance. So like, however it is you're turning up to this session, it's completely fine. He's got his arms crossed at his heart. The left is underneath the right, closest to his heart, and holding a bell. And this bell represents wisdom. And the right is holding a vajra. And the vajra represents the indestructibility of compassion. And when they're crossed like that, this represents enlightenment, infinite wisdom, infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings and the very beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and, because the harm they've caused you is going to result a suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of the remedy, and this is actually the medicine, where we do visualization and mantra recitation. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space Not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Savasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Setra Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Dita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And imagine there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So it's the same as when you turn the tap on a sink. So you've got a glass of yogurt or something in the sink, and you turn the tap on, and all the kind of bits of yogurt and milk kind of float to the top. So that's one of the images that they talk about in the text. The other one is, it is forcefully pushed up in, and it's almost like as forceful as a hat being blown off your head in the wind. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech, useless speech and lying, talking about people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jita meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasafa samaya manupalaya, vajrasafa dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. So now feel really happy your speech is completely purified and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it happens as instantaneously as when you walk into a dark room and flick on the switch and the light comes. So when the light comes from Vajrasattva's heart and hits your heart chakra, instantaneously, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, attachment, depression, neediness, bitterness, anger, resentment, hurt, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam kuru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mepi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all your own suffering and why you harm others with your body and speech, are completely purified, and think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine that Vajrasattva sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely. And so you imagine the nectar flowing down, pushing out all the negativity of the body, and the nectar flowing upwards again, pushing out quite forcefully the negativity of the speech, and then the light coming and blasting all of those delusions. And this completely eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa Sitokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitam me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mebi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Triyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, Sitokaya meboa, Sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpi yatta sawa kama sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So now feel completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. This is this determination to refrain from harming with our body and our speech and our mind. And without this, we're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again. So this determination, this aspiration to refrain from harming becomes like a beacon that guides your body and speech and mind in new directions. So Lama Zopa Rinpoche used to talk about everything being on the tip of the wishes. So we want to aspire to be refraining from harming. And so then, rejoice in your efforts. coming along to this practice so regularly. And then also think about something you want to work on. Something that's harmful to yourself or others. And Vajrasattva's delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into light and absorbs into you through your crown and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So he would say like this, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that how things are appearing to me, the way they appear to me, may not necessarily be the way they actually exist, may not be correct. So we'll dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So now we'll do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Samadhi resting through great meditation, endowed with bodies flowing from great wisdom, both great in strength and great in skillful means, a brimming ocean filled with vows and knowledge. By nature great in kindness, limitless, the foremost mind enriched by great compassion, of great insight, of great intelligence, great dexterous one, with methods ever great. Commanding powers and great miracles, with driving force supreme, with speed unmatched, renowned great Lord of foremost majesty, most valorous owing to his great might. Okay, everybody. Let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long and for the swift discovery of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and then for all of your own teachers to live long, happy, healthy lives. Okay, everyone. Lots of love. Take care. Happy packing, Shrey.
Thank you.